Hello, everybody. My name is Joe Pitts. I'm the mayor of the beautiful city of Clarksville, and I am joined today by Hannah Dodson, who is what we will say the outgoing president of the Mayor's Youth Council this year. Hannah and I visited a few months ago to talk about what was coming up in the Mayor's Youth Council, the changes and the exciting plans that she had, and now we're at the end of the year, and so we're going to do a little walk back through the history over the past year and find out what worked well, and then things that we can improve so that as the next Mayor's Youth Council comes in, beginning in July of this year, that we will get off to a fast start. So Hannah, thanks for taking time to be with us today.
Thank you.
I know it was a busy year and a different year.
Yes, very much so.
And it's nice to physically sit beside you versus a screen showing your face and the environment we're in. But I know that based on your vision of the Mayor's Youth Council and what you shared with us last year after you completed it the first year, you made some recommendations.
Yeah.
You said, hey, let's break it up into small groups. Each group will have opportunities for leadership. Each group will be assigned a particular topic, and maybe they could come up with their own projects and things. So, and I think that really, really worked well. I think the council members responded to it, even though I wasn't as active and involved as I could be from what I heard.
You were very involved.
Well, thank you. What I wanted to be, I guess I should say. I think the council really responded to that because where before we had one large group, still have the large group, but we've broken it down, as I said. So from your perspective, kind of tell me how you think it worked and what you think the strengths of the council were this year.
So this year was really different. It's the first year that we had all the council sign a honor code.
Okay.
They had to have volunteer hours, and they actually participated monthly in all of these different activities that we held, such as, like some of the big ones is that we held a Q&A with Councilman Richard Garrett on voter rights.
That was good.
And we also held another Q&A with the, Dr. Barron from APSU and the ACLU Tennessee director, Hetty Weinberg, about the Constitution and our personal rights. And that was in January and February.
That's timely.
Yes. We also, I don't want to miss anything. We also had the monthly volunteering at Manna Cafe. We worked at Combat Hunger with Manna Cafe, and we collected hygiene items and resource cards for the homeless and delivered it to the old firehouse shelter. Wow. We also collected gloves and masks and supplies for CMCSS school nurses. We held an Undies for Angels campaign.
I saw that at the senior send-off, and I thought, what a creative title.
Thank you.
Who came up with that?
It was kind of a mixture. There is a nonprofit that's called Undies for Everyone, where they go and they raise underwear and they give it to children who don't have it. Right. So it was kind of a spinoff of that.
Okay.
And hopefully they don't.
That was fun.
Yeah. And then and that was for St. Bethlehem Elementary Christmas Tree Angel students. And appreciation notes for Tenova nurses and frontline staff during the pandemic. Pod 4 Education also held the Red Sand Project at Liberty Park and made contact with the Clarksville chapter of End Slavery Tennessee. We also volunteered as poll workers in the 2020 election, and we advocated for vote16usa.org and presented our goals for letting 16-year-olds and 17-year-olds vote in local school board elections to the city council.
Right. Wow.
And we also,
it goes on. No,
we also contracted with the Cumberland River Compact to adopt the clean up part of the Clarksville Riverwalk. So we clean up. And then those are just the individual pods. Right. For the full council, we also held a Good Friday White Flag Memorial Service. We read books to raise money for Montgomery County's Imagination Library. And we participated in the suicide prevention rally with Montgomery County Mental Health Alliance. And we held joint meetings with the Nashville Mayor's Youth Council in order to combine our efforts in the Vote 16 initiative.
Well, tell me about that. I know that we had other groups from other cities reach out to us to want to coordinate. So what was the big takeaway from the meeting with the Nashville group?
The possibilities are honestly endless. Okay. We could really just combine our forces and become a very statewide known organization
Mhm.
and not just a bunch of smaller mayor's youth councils. We could actually really work together
Okay.
and for a common goal, which in this case would be Vote 16,
Mhm.
which I think a lot of teenagers should really start researching because
They should.
it's a really good opportunity and
So
the
just
science
remember
behind
that.
it is valid.
Yeah.
So I would honestly have to say that it's a lot stronger when we're together and when we actually can combine forces from different perspectives.
You and Brooklyn did a very good job at the city council meeting
Thank you.
presenting that. And I think you got the attention of the council that got them thinking that, yeah, maybe that's something that we ought to be thinking about. Of course, that would require a change in law, but
It's a long
nevertheless,
road.
but it still starts with the germ of an idea.
Mhm.
And so that was intriguing to me.
Mhm.
So I was impressed at the senior send-off and at the end of the year activity with all of the photographs and the activities that I had no idea about. The Red Sand Project I thought was really kind of creative.
Mhm.
And I know Taylor Albertia had that idea.
Mhm.
Tell me a little bit about that one, just so that people can kind of get a
Mhm.
sense of the details behind
So
stuff.
the Red Sand Project is basically a awareness, artistic awareness production, if you could say,
Mhm.
of raising awareness about human trafficking. As we should all know, Clarksville in Tennessee is actually one of the first states to actually say, hey, this is a problem and we need to address it.
Right.
And so it's basically the visual of people falling through the cracks. That's what the red sand, you put it through cracks in the sidewalk.
Oh,
And so it raises awareness of End Slavery Tennessee
Mhm.
and human trafficking.
okay.
And it was actually one of the ideas, Taylor spun off of this, but I also wanted to bring something like just raising awareness for human trafficking to the council the first year that I was on the council.
Oh, okay.
So I had been wanting to do it and I had been kind of planting seeds for it, but
Yeah.
luckily Taylor was like, hey, there's the Red Sand Project.
Okay.
So we did it.
It's almost like you rehearsed it.
Kind of.
Okay. But, I think that's just an example of one of the things that the council did. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just, well, let's have a pizza party once a month and get together and talk. And it was really focused on project-oriented service.
Yeah.
And as we know, scholarships require community service
Mhm.
hours. School clubs like National Honor Society and others require community
Mhm.
service hours. So this was an outlet for our high school juniors and seniors to do that.
Mhm.
So fast forward, looking forward into next year.
Yeah.
I know that you'll be going off to college.
Well, mhm.
So you're going to Baldwin Wallace
University.
University.
Yes, in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay, congratulations to
Thank
you.
you.
And to all of our graduating seniors. But we've got a really strong group of incoming seniors on the
Mhm.
Mayor's Youth
Yes, we
Council.
do.
And there's no better indicator of
Mhm.
the success of an organization when more people want to be a part of it.
Mhm.
I think we had 54 members
Oh, wow.
this past year.
Mhm.
We have 62 coming into
Oh.
the next class.
Okay.
So I think with your idea about changing it and really focusing on smaller groups, greater impact, more communication, I think that's really been a success story for us. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Okay, so next year, what
Yes.
advice would you give to Mayor's Youth Council members?
I would have to say I'm very much a doer. This year has been honestly a blessing in disguise
Okay.
of this was my only thing. This is the only thing I did all year other than like a couple of virtual clubs.
Okay.
I focused all of my time on it, and that is probably why it was this successful.
Mhm.
Obviously, next year, you won't have that same luxury because everything will be going back in person. So it's okay,
Right.
and it's perfectly fine.
Mhm.
This was my outlet, my little thank you to Clarksville for the past 11 years. And so for you guys, just make it your own.
Okay.
You don't have to do everything like I did. I know that I was very intense and kind of missed a little bit of the fun aspect that other people pointed out to me throughout the year. But I would have to say that in my personal opinion, if you're productive and if you actually get stuff done, then you have fun along the way.
Well, the thing I appreciated about your leadership is you brought focus,
Mm-hmm.
not only in reconfiguring how we did the Mayor's Youth Council, but you brought focus on specific topics, and then gave the pods, as we
Mhm.
call them, the freedom to sort of explore within those topics what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Education, healthcare, social justice. I was intrigued that members volunteered during the election last year, which I thought was huge and needed to be done because, as we know, it's the demographic. And I'm not trying to say you're a part of it, but that typically don't get involved as early as they could. So what better way than to volunteer to help in an election season?
Very much so.
So thank you for doing that as well. So we got Tyler Rose from West Creek High School coming in as president next year.
Yes.
Tyler, I understand, has also been elected SGA president for his school.
Yeah.
So he's going to be busy.
He is. He's going to be very busy. I don't know how he's going to do it.
He's up to the task.
Yeah.
And I know you spent some time with Tyler and the other officers over the past year. So kind of tell me about them a little bit and what you think the strengths they'll bring and how we can, as a city government, help them.
Well, it's kind of funny. They were all pod reps throughout this past year, and I immediately pinpointed them as they would make a great executive board next year because they immediately took, like for Brooklyn, for instance, she took an esoteric idea of citizen participation where, well, what do we do there? And she created, along with the help of her pod and other members and stuff, a very far-reaching possible campaign where we're meeting with national organizations. They're reaching out to us to be members of their organization.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, we've been in contact with vote16usa.org and the co-founder of Spread the Vote, which it's just all about voting and it can be expanded even further and getting IDs and obviously like lowering the voting age in local elections. And so Brooklyn just came with just so many ideas. Rianne is so organized. I love her organization. I wish I had it because she is absolutely phenomenal when it comes to what she's doing. She writes really well. She's going to make an amazing vice president. And Tyler was always the one person who I was like, I really hope that he wins president. Just deep down in the back of my mind, I was like, he's going to be a great president. I hope that he runs. And he did, and he won. Yeah. So I'm very proud of him, and he's going to do absolutely phenomenal. He's got the leadership.
So we're talking about those 62, I think is the number, maybe one or two more or less. I can't remember exactly. That'll be coming in. If you're going to be a sophomore in high school, or maybe a junior that's not participating in the Mayor's Youth Council next year, what would you say to them in regard to the value of participating not only in the Mayor's Youth Council, but any group?
I would say that the Mayor's Youth Council, I always really enjoyed it. It was a amazing opportunity where you could get together with other members of your community that you might not know because they go to different schools and actually get to make a difference in your community. This year, more so than others, and hopefully more so in the future as well. So I would just have to say that please apply. We'll read everything. We will really look at you. And if you belong, we'll get you in there. And it will be amazing. And you can bring ideas to the table. We'll listen. We will help you. And we will provide you with a really awesome experience.
Well, thank you for saying that. And I want to just kind of jump on that thought one. And if you've got ideas on how to make the Mayor's Youth Council better, just follow Hannah's example. She sent me that email and said, hey, have you give some thought to this idea of how to restructure, realign, make it more productive, more useful instead of just another group that students have the opportunity. So I think the key there is, as you said, apply, but also participate, and then feel free to offer suggestions on ways to improve it.
Yeah.
Because it may not improve it for you during that year, but it may help others who are coming along. So that's exciting. So Hannah, parting words, final words as school is ending and you're preparing to launch into your next season?
For everyone else or just for me?
Well, either one and or both.
I would just have to say thank you so much because this has truly been my thing senior year. I was virtual because of an immunocompromised father and just the fear of COVID, and this gave me something to do. Right. And I love keeping busy, so normally I was after school every single day for past 7 years since middle school. I was just always after school.
Mm-hmm.
I loved being busy, and normally that was just with a bunch of different clubs, but this time I got to be very, very focused in the Mayor's Youth Council. And because of that, I think I've improved our community and the council itself. And I'm very grateful for not only your allowance of letting me take over just a tad bit, and for appointing me as president when I would have never won the election, because I'm not the type of person that people vote for.
Well, but you've proven that you have the leadership ability and skills, and you brought everybody together.
Mm-hmm.
You got them thinking.
Yep.
You created a very healthy environment for people to be able to offer their thoughts and input. You could disagree without being disagreeable, as the old saying goes. And you can help refine it, not just, as I said, for your class or your group, but for that group that's coming along behind you. So thank you for your leadership. And thank you for your honesty, and for, honestly, the courage to hit the send on that email that started this metamorphosis, as I call it, of the Mayor's Youth Council. So you've heard Hannah Dodson, who is currently the president of the Mayor's Youth Council for the next few hours.
Yeah, the next few hours.
And then she will be going off to university in Ohio, and we wish her much success. We know that she'll be great. And one of the things I would love for the Mayor's Youth Council to do is, after they graduate, stay in touch.
I will.
Create an alumni, if you will, group that we can stay in touch, because we know you're going to do great things.
Thank you.
You're going to do great things. So if you haven't applied for the Mayor's Youth Council, it's too late for next school year, but be watching our social media pages, be talking to your school guidance counselors, pay attention to the city website, cityofclarksville.com, look up Mayor's Youth Council and apply. It's not that difficult. It does require a little bit of time, but the biggest thing is commitment. You have to be committed to participating. As Hannah said, we're going to ask you to commit to attending and participating in some way. So we thank you for joining us today on Let's Talk. And remember, Mayor's Youth Council, and this is a beautiful city. So have a wonderful day.